Hi, I'm Shannon Miller, and I'm going to show you how to opt out of National Public Data. So, the thing you need to know about National Public Data's website is that they are a data broker. So, data brokers are data aggregators essentially. And what that means is they take all of your information from different systems and that's publicly available information. Some of it is resold to these data brokers by government entities, state, local, and federal. There's also airlines that sell your information, basically any marketing or advertising data about you, addresses, phone numbers, cellular phone numbers, mobiles, locations of where you've lived, places that you've registered for products, things like that. So if you've ever opted into anything or if you've ever gotten spam mail, let's let me try that again. Spam mail, such as, you get on a direct mailing list. Well, data brokers are essentially a direct mailing list for your data. So back in the day, you used to get it through snail mail. Now you just get opted into all of these lists without your knowledge. National Public Data had a major data breach last year, and the company, like, apparently the domain was sold, and according to PC Magazine, they published an article yesterday, talking about yesterday being August 11th, 2025. They published an article talking about how National Public Data now has a new owner and they don't have a paywall around data lookup. So what that means for you is if you put in your information, like your first and last name, your addresses may pop up, your cell phone number, your current address may pop up, maybe places you lived 10 or 15 years ago. A lot of information about you is not behind a paywall on this particular data broker as of yet. They do have an opt-out program that allows you to go to their website. So let me show you that now. So this is what you're seeing on your screen is National Public Data's website. This is the search engine where you're going to type in your name, your city and state to find records of you, and then we're going to go opt you out of them. So for example, let's just take the name, I don't know, we'll pick a random name that has nothing to do with anything, such as Jane Smith. Okay, very common name. We populate it and we say that we're from San Francisco, California. And we're going to do a search for Jane Smith. And as you can see, there are many, many addresses of Jane Smith. So there's seven, well, in this case, there's seven people, so not many, many. But if you see yourself or some information about you that looks like you or could be associated with you, you may want to opt out of the information. Basically, that would mean that they would have to delete the records from this public data broker website in order to comply with privacy laws. Now, many states like California have very aggressive and rather strict policies on what data brokers are allowed to do, and they maintain a whole list of them. At last count, there was about 500 data brokers registered with the CCPA in California, which means they maintain records on who reports as a data broker, who's selling your data, things like that. So for you to get access to these records, you type in your name, you type in your address, maybe of where you used to live, maybe of cities that you've been in the past. You may find that you have more than one profile that you have to delete, but you can only delete them individually. That's why I have two tabs open here. So let's say that I'm Jane Smith, 69 in San Francisco, and I recognize myself where I used to live and some of these associates on this screen, as you can see here. Now, if that's the case and you recognize this and you don't want this information in this web address, in this data broker site, sorry, you know what I mean. Maybe you don't know what I mean. What I'm trying to say is if you recognize that you don't want it on this website and you want to opt out, I highly encourage you to do so. Use variations of your name, use street addresses that you used to, check your mobile phone numbers that you may have used to have, because all of that information can lead back to you. And as you know, they love to sell your data no matter what. And you don't get any money off of that. They do. They make money off of your data, and then you do it without your knowledge. So you can copy and paste this web address for Jane Smith's profile. So when I mean web address, I mean what's up in your little web bar here. So we are going to copy and paste this link, and we're going to go over to the opt-out form. Now, this is the web address for the opt-out form for National Public Data. So it's nationalpublicdata.com/optout.html. And I have it here on the screen so you can see it and we can demonstrate it. But what you're going to do, as we said, how to remove your information, they have a step-by-step guide here. It says find your personal profile on National Public Data, which we did in our tab over here about Jane Smith in San Francisco. Okay, we copied that web address and that web link, the profile of Jane Smith, and now we have the profile URL, which we're going to put in the submission box. So we're going to click that here, And then we would just click request removal. And what that is supposed to do is notify national public data that you do not want your information in their database. Now, there are, as I said, over 500 data brokers. This is just one of them, but this is one of the most egregious. A lot of them require you to pay for the information. This is publicly available. So there's no paywalls in place. There's nothing preventing somebody from looking you up. And if you have somebody who's an aggressive harasser, a stalker, an ex-partner who has decided to make your life hell, maybe um, they've been stalking you, you've had domestic violence or intimate partner violence happen to you, then you definitely want to remove your information from this. Anything about you that could put you, your family, your friends, or anyone that you love at risk, you may want to remove it. And I highly encourage you to, once you've done this for yourself, that you help a family member or friend do this too, because the more we know about how to remove our information, the more people we can teach how to do it. And as you know, in this age of censorship and fascism, we want to remove as much information as possible from the public sphere to protect our privacy. We would have done that anyway, but we've just accelerated that timeline in the current one that we're in, unfortunately. So the goal here is to help protect you from people publicly selling your data and making money off of you, but also for your own safety so that somebody who you don't know, or maybe somebody you do know who wishes you harm, isn't just going to publicly dox you and then or show up at your house or send you things that you don't want. And I can tell you, as somebody who's had a stalker for 5 years, you really don't want things coming to your house. So this is one way that we can remove somebody from a data broker, somebody we care about, ourselves, our spouse, a partner, your kids, maybe. Just take a look, see if you have a profile there. Do not panic. Just take these steps, do it one thing at a time. Do it one entry at a time. Maybe there's only one profile of you, and that's fantastic. But the reason we're doing this is, again, because National Public Data is the same company that leaked 100 million or so social security numbers last year, and then they ended up selling the domain to somebody else who's now profiting off that information. And so what we're trying to do is make it a little bit harder for them to, one, make a profit off of you, two, resell your information, and three, we're trying to protect your privacy. So if you think that's important like I do, I highly encourage you to do this and to take these steps and to remove yourself, a loved one, a friend, a neighbor. If you have somebody, maybe an aunt or an uncle who is not technically savvy, a parent, a sibling who doesn't quite understand tech the way you do, instead of, making them feel silly or dumb for not knowing, just show them so that they understand all the information that is actually out there about them and why they would want to protect it. Because we all have a right to privacy and we all have someone or something that we want to protect. I hope you find this video useful. If you do, please like, comment, and share. And I'm